Hey guys, I'm MeeMee and I do Allsorts, and it's a brand new month and with a brand new smart art box. So this is June's smart art box, and if you don't know, smart art is an art subscription box. Every month you can get some mystery items and you make art with it. I'm not sponsored, not an affiliate, and I just love getting these boxes. So anyway, let's see what we get in June's box. And in June's box we get, Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, so first up we have our booklet, which has all of our supplies in it, some hints and tips and art prompts on the back, but we're not looking at that yet because, as you know, I do not want to spoil it for myself. So, that aside, whoa, oh wow. This is jam-packed. Alright, so first off we got our Smart Art sticker, which looks amazing. I love the splatters of colours everywhere. It's very graffiti-like. And up next we have a palette knife. So this is what the knife looks like. It's oval in shape. I have never seen anything like this before. All of my other palette knives are more elongated. The handle itself is like, I don't know how to describe it. The handle itself is plastic, but it's also got like a very soft touch to it. And as you can see, it says Smart Art. So I actually quite like that than thinking more for the Smart Art. You know, I actually quite like that little touch. And for some strange reason, it just makes it a little bit more special. You know, I don't know. Right, but next is something that I have actually tried before. So these are Marabou art crayons, and these are actually really interesting to work with. They're almost like a waxy watercolour. You can put them on paper and, you know, just put water straight onto the paper and mix it that way, or scribble it into a palette and do it that way. I have actually used, so here it says, and we've got the primary pack, which we get our primary colours of yellow, red and blue, and we even get black and white. It even says on the top and then the watercolour crayons, so I wasn't far off. So I can't actually wait to try these out. So next we have a spray bottle. It's really intriguing. It's an art spray, and it says there that it's an acrylic spray. Well, this doesn't give any kind of indication of what it does or how you use it, just shake and spray. But I have never heard of an art spray before. But whatever it is, it's waterproof and it's by Marabou as well. Well, I am actually really intrigued to see what this is. And up next, you cannot go wrong with the set of paintbrushes. So we can get into an assortment of 6 sizes and 6 different shapes. So we've got 2 round brushes, we've got a rounded filbert brush, we've got a square brush, and we have 2 slanted brushes, but I've never actually seen this one before, so I am interested to actually see how that one actually works. At the bottom it says that it's like a multi-use thing for like acrylics, oils and watercolour paint, so can't go wrong with the multi-use brush. Alright, up next we have very unusual canvases. So this is an 8-inch round canvas panel. It's acid free and 100% cotton, and we get 4 of them. Now I have never actually seen canvases like this before, and I wouldn't even know how to use them, or, you know, I love trying anything so unusual, so I'm super excited to work on a different canvas. Alright, up next we have one of my favourite brands, Faber Castell, and it looks like we get stencils. So I've just taken these out of the package, and it looks like we can get a lot of different designs. Then cardboard, and all of the pieces are actually punched out, and so far they look really nice. So we get a lot of different designs. As you can see here, and it's been cut along the edge, so you just bend it and snap it off. So it's a great use of space, and apparently we get 17 designer patterns. which is really nice. So I'm going to have a good look at them later and see exactly what I can be working with. Right, up next we have Abstract and Innovative Acrylic. Now I've heard of these, and it's basically painting a pen, but it gives off like a 3D effect. Like it says there, it's a 3D liner, and this is in iridescent gold, which you can't really see because it is extremely sunny outside, and unfortunately can't do anything about it. So I've never used anything like this before, but again I am intrigued to find out. Right, up next we've got another art spray. So this one is actually in a blue bottle. So I wonder if this one's black. On the back it says it's a water-based acrylic spray. So I'm guessing it's just like watering down acrylic and you just spray it on. Almost like a spray can, but in like a smaller spray bottle style. I'm not entirely too sure, but I'll be finding out soon. And the last but not least, I was reading from this month is Swedish fish. Now, I've actually tried these before and I wasn't like that keen on them, but they are so cute. They're just like little jellyfish. Alright, so now we've met into our contenders, so I'm going to tidy up and I will get back to you from the experimenting. Alright, so I've gone to send some, so here I've gone some piece of watercolour paper from my massive stash, and didn't really want to waste the canvases just to do a bit of experimenting, so that's what I've done there. So first off, I'm going to do the Aquariums because they are dying to be tested out. These are actually quite cool. You can twist the tops and the crayon will come out, so that's like really neat. So I'm going to test these out, and they are like really super creamy. Well, I've just played about with the settings on my cameras, so I'm sorry if the quality has changed. I've been trying to use like the 4K setting, and for some strange reason doing that and just diluting all of the colours, so I had to go back to the old one, and I can see then, and it's actually improved the situation. But anyway, I've got all of the colours out here, and I've even got colours here to mix up and show you how that works. So and these do actually water down really nicely, but the problem is then you can't really dissolve the like waxiness something, you know, it just stays on the page, but you can dilute it, which is great. So now I'm going to mix these up, and there's the mix of colours that you can get. It usually depends on what ratio that you're going for, but that's supposed to be orange, but it needs to have way more yellow to it. That's supposed to be purple, but it needs more red to it. The green one did actually work, but you know, it just depends on the ratio. And of course I've got black and white and then to make grey. So it does take some getting used to. So up next I'm going to use the abstract pen. Because I'm left-handed, I'm going from right to left. Ooh, now that is interesting. I like that. I really do like the fan nozzle on this, and it does actually come out in 3D. So as you can see there, and does actually come off the page a bit if the camera focuses, and you can go from like a thick point to a thin point depending on what it is that you're looking for, and it is actually a really nice gold. Now I have never used a palette knife before, so this is an absolute first. So that's what it looks like spread out. And I was actually right with these art sprays, and it's just watered down acrylic in a spray bottle. I really don't know how to use this because I am sat in my living room and I don't have any protection whatsoever, and everything around me is very light, and these will show. And so I've just stepped into my kitchen just to be on the absolute safe side, and you can see the results there. Now, I really do love the splattering effect. Needless to say, I'm not going to be using them because I do not want to get it everywhere, and it is actually quite runny and it's like pulled down in the corner where I held up the paper. So if I am going to be using this, we'll have to step away and do it off camera. But I don't know exactly what I'm doing yet, so I don't know what I'm going to be doing. But I really do love the splatter effect, and I'm sure it's going to look really awesome when you use it with these stencils. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up some paint there and just do that. I've also just realised that was the wrong paintbrush I used. At least it came out alright. And so that's our materials. At the moment I love the colour selection. I love the fact that there's something different. You know, like you've got the watercolour crayons, which you can use either by themselves or water them down. The gold accent, which you can then lay flatter and you can have the 3D effect, and just the splatter of paint, when you know, just gives extra bit of texture, and you know, something as cute as these stencils, which I think I'm gonna have to be a little bit careful of, because this is cardboard and already it's buckling, so I'm gonna have to be extremely aware of that. And she now brings us on to the prompts. So the prompts for this month, we have Spiral, Retro, Journey and Whimsical. Now this is interesting. I like the idea of retro. I've been going through a massive phase recently, so I've got quite a few choices there. So I've got a lot to work with here, and the major setback of this is like the drying time. Watercolours drying pretty much very quickly. The spray wilting some time. I mean, it's been like about 10 minutes and it's still drying, and the gold paint, if it's in like a 3D form, I have no idea how long that's going to take, but that's probably going to go on last depending on which direction I'm going to go in. So anyway, I'm going to have a good think, because I mean, because this really does need a damn good plan. And so I'm going to have a think about that, and I will see you guys in a bit. Right, okay, so what I've decided to do was go with the retro prompt, simply because I've been into the whole retro theme for quite some time. So I did a bit of research, and so I'm going to do like the classic retro sun, and then I found a picture of this rocket, and I thought, well, why not mash them together? So that's what I'm going to do. In terms of how I'm going to do it, I do not know. I'm just going to go in and see what happens. We'll see how it turns out. But the one thing that I want to do in the background, and like the sun patterns bright and colourful, you know, and the rock chimp to be a bit darker, and so and be brought forward a bit more. Let's get started. Tell you one thing, these crayons have gone on a lot better on a textured surface like this than like a smooth surface. It has worn down the crayon an awful lot, but at least it's gone down really well, and as far as I can see, and it's like blending out when it's a lot better, and you can't really see much of the graininess. I just want to put like as much texture and such in this, so it's just not one flat image. I mean, if you're going to give me a 3D pen, I'm going to use the 3D-ness of it. I have no idea how this is going to work out. I just want to get like a bit of orange in there. And it's not working on too bad, and it's just now you can see like all of the textures of it. But unfortunately it's just like taking off most of the red, but at least you sort of like get the idea. No, I was not expecting that to go on that well. I wanted to try and like mix the crayons on the canvas itself instead of doing it in a palette, and I actually got like the purple colour that I wanted, and as you saw me do, I put white at the top, which gave me like a bit more of a pastel colour, which I wanted. I just wanted it darken towards the rocket and just feathering out a lighter colour, so that's actually really good. I'm banking off camera just to try and smooth things out a bit, but it's not working for me. I'm still not really used to using these crayons, but I'm going to move on and hopefully, you know, make things a little bit better. So I'm going to be using the 3D pen now just to put a bit of like a gold accent on it. I still don't have a plan, I'm just doing whatever, so see where it takes us. So yesterday off camera I actually went into my kitchen and used the art spray. Needless to say, it didn't go very well. First of all, it was extremely messy, and by the time I finished spraying them, I just so happened to look at my kitchen floor and I didn't actually notice that there were blue and black splatters all over the floor. I didn't actually notice it at first because the laminate flooring in the kitchen is actually like a splatter of grey and white, and don't know how to describe it, but it just practically hidden this like massive spray. So yeah, needless to say, I won't be using them anymore. But what I did use them for is to sort of like darken the bottom of where the fume clouds or whatever you call them from the rocket are, which I thought gave a really nice like added a bit of texture and such. And did have to cover the rest of the picture with like a piece of tissue just so it didn't get everywhere. I don't mind it around here, but you know, I just didn't want it everywhere. What I had planned for the gold was to sort of like, you know, just smush it into the background a bit but not losing all of the colour that I put on. Still not entirely convinced by it, but that's where we are right now. So I think what I'm going to do, because I'm liking the 3D-ness around this window, I'm actually going to go ahead and like outline the entire rocket so at least something else stands out. Well, it's been a week, honestly. I've left this in for a couple of days because, you know, everything was taking a while to dry, and then Would you add an event my washing machine stopped working? So yeah, that was a very interesting weekend, so now I can finally get back to this. So what I'm going to do now is then in the pamphlet that we got, apparently if you take a stencil and a crayon, apparently you can take some of the crayon off and smush it into the stencil. So I'm going to actually give them to go. It sounds fun, it sounds messy, and I know for a fact that this probably will not dry out. So we're going to give it a try anyway. And update on the art spray in my kitchen. It is starting to come off now, thankfully. So I've decided that I'm going to do the roses and like using the red on like the yellow side just to give them a bit more variation, a bit more flavour. So let's see how this turns out. I feel a bit like Bob Ross doing this, you know, getting the small palette knife and just get the small palette knife, cutting across, and you'll get a little roll of paint. Yeah, can you even tell I've been watching an awful lot of The Joy of Painting. Ta-da! Ooh, that's got a really nice effect to it. I don't want to probably ruin the stencil now. I'm not going for absolute perfection, I just want like little bits showing through. Oh no, I quite like that. Oh, and it's definitely worked, and like I said, I'd probably ruin that stencil now, because I have no idea if this is going to dry. Unfortunately, I don't know how to clean this off, and I don't know how it's going to react, because first of all, it's cardboard, so obviously, you know, put any water on it and it's going to disintegrate, and I don't know anything about the art crayons apart from that they are water soluble, so I actually quite enjoy doing that. So I'm going to do some more on this side, but in yellow, and be able to get some orange out of it. Alright, and there we have it. Now, I have to admit I had so much fun doing this, you know, despite the fact that I hate using messy mediums, especially with the art spray. So, like I said, I went with the retro theme. I absolutely loved doing the gradient, but I think I've actually spoiled it a bit by putting a lot of the gold on. And I also love the way how I actually did it as well, where I've got all of the bright stuff in the background and all of the dark stuff in the foreground, and it just really punches everything out. And I'm actually quite glad that I did the little addition of like, what is it, like print relief or something? Whatever, and since, but I actually really do love it, you know, and just a little bit extra, and you know, a different technique than I learned, you know, and just something a little bit different and like way out there. So altogether, I actually really enjoyed it. Now, as for the art supplies, the art crayons, as I've said, I have used them before, and they were super fun to use, super simple. You know, you can use them as they are, or you can add water into them like I did to get this gradient. You can even put a wet brush on it and do it that way, which I have actually done off camera, and just to get a nicer blend. So there's like different ways of using them, and they are really super creamy. Not necessarily something that I enjoy using, but you know, it's all down to personal preference. But if you want to try something new and interesting, I would highly recommend it. And plus, as you see me doing the stencils, it actually works really great with it, but I wouldn't advise using it on cardboard. I'd go with like a plastic or metal stencil, you know, something that was easily washable, right? And the abstract 3D liner, this was super fun to use, super simple, but you do have to wait quite a long time if you do actually use like the 3D function of it, and you have to be very careful. I mean, all of the lines that I've done outlining all of the rockets, there are parts from when, you know, like down here where sort of like bunched up a bit because I was avoiding trying to smush everything else. But it does actually give off a really nice effect. Then of course, like with the new paint, you can use it any way you want, like in the background as you saw I used the palette knife, you know, just to give a bit more texture. I know in all of my videos that I highly recommend it. You know, this is MeeMee approved. If you want that little bit of extra oomph and interest, I would recommend I mean, you do actually get in good control. The palette knife I absolutely loved. Like I said, I do not have this one in my collection, and I absolutely love the novelty of it. It is by Smart Art. Super simple to use, easily cleanable, except for cleaning that up straight away. And it's just a nice little palette to work with. You know, a palette's a palette, and this is like the first time I've actually really used one, and I think I want to try and, you know, incorporate into more in my artwork. Paintbrushes and just normal paintbrushes, they were really nice to work with, and even after using them with the Aquariums, they washed really nicely, they feel really soft, and well, they're an all-round paintbrush. The canvas, I've never worked with the circular canvas beam, but honestly this was so much fun to work on, and I cannot wait to use the other ones. It was really nice to work on a thick canvas, you know, something that was sturdy and, you know, and didn't bounce every time you tried to put paint in it, and like normal stretch canvas. Yeah, it was, like I said, it was super fun to work on. With the stencils you do get a lot of different designs. Some of them are repeated in some of them, you know, like hearts and the roses, but they are actually quite cute and really nifty. But the only downside for me is that the cardboard, and as you can see there, I have no idea how on earth I'm going to clean that, you know. And as I said earlier, I would prefer to have like plastic or metal ones, and so you can easily clean it, because I think I've ruined that now. And of course, if you rip it, that's it. But you know, I actually quite like them. I would have liked to have a little bit more variation with the designs, because as you can see, it's just mainly florals and butterflies, and I'm not really into that, and it's just like all samey. This one might just be a floral pack, I don't know. And last but not least, the arts. As you can tell, I was super ecstatic to use it, and as I've mentioned, I had never used an art spray before until now, and honestly I will never be using this ever again. Not to say that it didn't work, it worked fantastically. The colours were amazing, even though that one of them was black, but the blue is a really beautiful colour. I mean, it came out the same colour as the bottle, you know, and as you can see, and you know, it was really cool to use, but it is extremely messy. I mean, it's a spray, it's going to get everywhere. So yeah, even though that isn't like novelty, my kitchen floor begs to differ. I mean, it's made beautiful art on the floor, but yeah. But honestly guys, I would say give it a try, but if you are going to use this, I would say do it outside or in a larger area. But yeah, if you're looking for something new to play with, I'd say get it. Alright, so that's it. So anyway guys, if you would like to have your own smart art box, I will leave a link in the description box below. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.